Hello, everyone. Catchy1383 with Catchy Gaming. And today I'm bringing you Story of Seasons, formerly Harvest Moon, Grand Bazaar. I should probably just call it Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. That could be confusing. There's a whole entire thing of naming rights and stuff, and why Story of Seasons is now what Harvest Moon is. And Harvest Moon is no longer Harvest Moon, even though it looks like Harvest Moon. But it's not Harvest Moon. It kind of sucks in comparison to older Harvest Moon games. It's a whole entire thing. Anyways, for everyone who's confused why there aren't things bleeding and being shot at as my usual fare, I am not past a cozy game every now and then. I do have Stardew Valley. Uh, it's a work in progress, and it'll probably be alongside this game at some point or another. But I also buy this game because my mom likes these games, or she did. She had a little bit of a health issue that deteriorated her eyesight, along with a bunch of medication that makes it really hard for her to play games at all, let alone cozy games, unfortunately. So I bought it so I could play it in front of her. And she watches to the best of her ability. I mean, it's kind of sad. She used to play Contra, Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and she really liked the Pikmin series, but it is what it is, unfortunately. So, out of just pure curiosity, this will probably be the one and only time that I buy a game key card. I'm pretty sure it's a game key card for this title. It didn't take very long for it to download, so I guess it wasn't that bad for this game. But the whole entire thing with that, my experience with it was, wasn't too bad in terms of downloading it. I don't know what else to say about the game key cards. Yes, I would actually prefer the whole entire game to be on the card, but that's neither here nor there. Let's stick to Grand Bazaar. So the last one I bought was A Wonderful Life, which there's something I want to do with that as well. They're just very time-consuming games. But when I play these games, and there's like a farming aspect to it, or it is just a farming game in general, similar to this or style, when you choose a spouse, I have a tendency to go for the farming girl. Like, I have this whole entire idea of how the game should be and not how it actually is. And it's like logically illogical, if that makes any sense, because I'm like, oh, farmer's girl, she will be perfect for a companion on the farm. And it never ever turns out like that. They're like always functionally the same, at least as far as I can tell. And when you don't have a farming girl, it usually defaults to redhead, then blonde, then brunette, then whoever's left. And again, I always form my own version of headcanon for some of these women that you can marry in the game. Young ladies? Let's go with women. But before we get into too much detail, so the game starts out a little bit different than other Harvest Moon Story of Season games, in which instead of having a dead relative being like, yeah, come live on my farm, your character's like, oh, flyer telling me to come be a farmer out in the middle of nowhere? Oh, hell yeah! That's a good idea. And one of the immediate things I notice is when it comes to the character creation, at least, or just the characters in general, it's very anime-ish. So I go ahead and I make the most anime character I can animate in this game. Which is to say, I'm actually very lazy when it comes to the character design, other than some minor hair changes and some eye color. I don't put that much effort into it. So after designing my character, naming my character after myself, of course, and then choosing a birthday in the whole entire season thing because there's only 4 seasons, so there's 4 months in the whole entire game. Each month slash season is 31 days. And then naming my farm Fae Farm because Akechi is actually a Fae creature, so I figured why not. So you may have noticed one little detail I did not choose, and I wanted to see if it would let me skip it, and that's entering my pronouns. Not a game changer or ruiner by any shape or form. I saw a person who actually put a video saying it ruined the game. It doesn't. It is slightly irritating that they forced me to do that. You think if they're going to go with the whole inclusion thing, they would also include the option not to answer that question for people who just don't care. It's like when your cat, or cats in my case, brush up against your face and they have their tail go across it and you get some of their hair in your mouth and it's just like, ugh. And I haven't seen them use the pronouns in any shape or form. They just refer to you as the farmer pretty much 100% of the time. Or they'll use your name that you gave them, but they won't actually say it because that technology hasn't been incorporated into the game at this point, assuming that it does exist. So yeah, it's just a minor little thing. It's irritating, like the cat fur that got on your tongue, and then you pull it out and you forgot that it ever even happened. Anyways, so this one is different. Yeah, there's a lot of similarities to other games similar to it. I do think it's a little weird that you have to jump up in the air to affect multiple squares in terms of harvesting, watering, and all the other fun stuff, instead of just holding down the button, which seems far superior. And I do have a bit of an issue with items spoiling over time. That kind of sucks a little bit. They do have some temporary fixes. I don't know if it'll be something that I can upgrade eventually to keep everything from spoiling, but right now you can pick things in the last maybe into half of the next season if you pick it with, say, flowers in the spring. You put them in the storage box. They'll still go bad, and it'll take a while. And they'll go bad by like mid-March. I said mid-March, mid-summer. And I will say that the horse riding's a bit stiff, and it feels really slow. It's just so much faster to go on foot because you can do all these shortcuts versus when riding on the horse. It gets caught on everything. It just doesn't seem worth it outside of riding it in order to earn trophies in the game for performing really well. And speaking of horses, I went with the most nerdy thing I can think of. I went for the red horse, although I kind of wish I chose the brown horse. I'm not really sure. And I named it the most nerdy thing I could think of. And the obvious horse name is going to be Epona. I know I should be ashamed, but I did that as a joke. And honestly, I'm not really all that ashamed about it. Probably should be, but I'm not. I also have a dog and a cat I named after passed away pets. Makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. And the dog and the cats actually take care of the animals in terms of putting them inside and outside for me. So yeah, there's actually practical use for them in this game. So that's actually nice. I mean, you have to train them a little bit in a little button mini game that you can only do once a day. And I will say that one thing that sort of drives me nuts is I feel like even though it's really early in the game, my stamina bar is just way too low and I'm constantly running out of it. And my guy is just constantly taking warm baths and eating grilled fish constantly. And I did find a power berry, which increased my stamina part, but it was so small, it was insignificant. And honestly, this game it's gonna take a while, so I don't think I'll ever do a proper review on it because I like to complete them, and that's gonna take a while for this one. I can tell. The main shtick of the game is in the title. You go to the town's local bazaar and you sell things, with the goal at this point to become a grand bazaar for multiple reasons, particularly with a very overly enthusiastic mayor. So you go to a designated tent, you put some stuff in stock, and then it starts you off where you actually have to put everything out on the counter, which is slightly annoying because they don't let you prepare beforehand. And you ring a bell to get people's attention, and it's kind of like a mini game where you have to get to the people in order to sell it, and they will walk away if you aren't fast enough. It gets a little funky with that table on the left hand side in terms of lining it up to sell. And some people will ask for things like they'll have a thought cloud over their head. If you have it in your inventory and want to sell it, it's, for lack of a better word, bizarre. Not that wasn't intended. It's very random, somewhat chaotic, and you can build up a meter in which these little spirit guys will come and help you sell stuff faster. There are other ways to earn money, but you'll make most of it through the bazaar. You can go to a local shop owner and sell stuff to them, but you just won't get as much money for it. So, yep, that's the main stick of the game, and you get a lot of money, and you're going to need a lot of money to improve your farm. So, like I said, this game has a very anime-ish aesthetic to it. And when it comes to finding a potential partner, wife, mate, whatever you want to call it, significant other, there's a bunch of waifus in this game. And none of them are farmer girls, so I developed a headcanon for all of them. First, we have Sophie here. Redhead by default, which probably means the one I'd go after the most. Not to mention the game seems to be pushing you in her direction, but she's also the mayor's daughter. So she's been titled with nepotism waifu. Because, having the mayor's daughter help you out with some decisions from the mayor might not be a bad thing. Then there's Maple, the hotel waifu. Sweet, clumsy. I don't know, probably a distant third, I guess, at this point. I really don't have much other than that she works in a hotel. Well, I actually do have a joke, but I'm not going to repeat it here because it's inappropriate and I don't want to get banned off of YouTube. It's something my brother and my dad were constantly joking about as I was playing it in front of my mom. Then there's June. I call her the vampire waifu. Just look at those red irises. I do not feel safe with her in any shape and or form, along with the whole goth attitude. And her dad is just as creepy. And there's Freya, the business waifu. I think it's business. It's really hard to tell what she does because I honestly don't know what she does other than work in the city. And then we have Diana. I call her the government stooge waifu who controls the fate of the Grand Bazaar in your tiny little town or village, whatever you want to call it. And because she works for the government, I just don't trust her. I'd rather take the vampire girl. Last we have Kagetsu. I think she's supposed to be a priest, but I also, in my head, she might be an Oni demon trying to steal my soul and eat my body. Although it's a lot of work to do that. But she has a little bit of a celestial air about her, so I just don't want to mess with her all that much. To be perfectly honest, though, I'm not entirely sure you can marry all these waifus at all. At this point in time, I'm just sort of guessing because they all have a very similar thing in common. At least I think they do. I could be very much wrong in that. And unfortunately, a lot of the benefits I wish they would are never ever going to pan out in terms of gameplay. They're all going to function pretty similar if I were to guess. I could be wrong about that and could be pleasantly surprised. Who knows? Anyways, that's just Grand Bazaar in a nutshell. Kind of enjoying the mundaneness of it all. For some odd reason, I just like games similar to this where you really don't do much. I mean, yes, you're doing something, but it's doesn't really feel like you're doing anything. You're doing chores, and for some odd reason, that's more fun than doing chores in real life. Anyways, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Have a good one.